everybody, and welcome to this month's Let's Get Organized YouTube hop from the paper crafting YouTubers who've kind of created a separate hop that we do each month where we focus on a different aspect of something in our craft rooms that we need to organize. For the month of January, we are focusing on stamps, dies, and embossing folders. And my system started out a certain way, and then I made some updates. So I had to re-record my video because I actually changed everything that I did. Not everything, but I changed how I did it. So the initial part is the same. Here's where my stamps and dies live right now. I'm expanding out of this pretty quickly. I've actually closed down most of my online store, so I actually absorbed a lot of those stamps and dies into my own stash, so I have to figure out a better way to organize them and everything. But so far this is working pretty well. I separated my dies based on themes that I have, general themes. This is all Tim Holtz. They fit really well in this binder. I don't know that I can get very many more in here, so I might just try not to get any more. I don't know if that's going to happen, but probably pretty good. I think I'm pretty good with what I've got in there. I've got them sorted: animals, people, flowers. There's some other icons and things in here, like if there's just random pictures of things, those belong in this bucket, and anything that has mostly words is going to go like over here. So things that are good for background or memory keeping, as far as, or even making cards or doing some sort of other things, that one is words. And then I have backgrounds that are like mostly what I used to call the mixed media stamps. So even Dina Wakely's in here, but this kind of stuff that's kind of a background, but not really an image of anything specific or a particular word or phrases in here. I have a lot of Finnabair kind of stamps in here. And for now, they live in these plastic sleeves, and I'll get more to that in a minute. I also recently, as I was going through this process, separated out the stamps and dies that have coordinating dies. And in a second here, I'll cut over and I'll show you a better view of how I separated those out and what I did with those. So those live on this shelf for now. And like I said, I'm kind of growing out of this, but because I have this section over here that is really just old planners, I'll probably end up moving that out, getting another one of these buckets, and I can expand my stash a little more. Over in this section in the middle of my craft area, I have these 3 drawers, and the middle drawer is very deep. And in that drawer is where I'm keeping my dies. And I do not have a big stash of dies, but I like what I have so far. This drawer doesn't pull out all the way. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. But dies are in here, and I will pull those out in a second and show you. I just wanted to show you where I store them for the most part. And then behind me, I will cut over in a second, and you'll see where I keep my stamps and dies that I'm working with during the month, for each month. So I'll be right back. All right, so here's kind of a close-up of what I have in those boxes that are labeled based on the kind of category or theme. Originally, I started out buying these plastic sleeves that Altenew sells, and they have these little sliders at the top, which can be good or bad. The problem is that even the Altenew, the large stamps, the paper that comes in the packaging does not even fit. I had to trim it down, which is kind of annoying. And there's 2 different sizes. There's actually a slightly smaller size. So I use them because I have them, but I'm not going to continue to use those going forward. I found a different option that works a lot better for me. So the other option that I found was these smaller envelopes that have a hook and loop, whatever, Velcro enclosure. I'm not going to say that they're like my absolute favorite things ever. I really like them for how inexpensive they are, and that they are all uniform size, and that for the most part, these smaller stamp sets fit perfectly. I want to say these are 5x7. I bought some to put my photos in. They're almost 5.5 by 7.5. They're a little bigger. But I bought some originally to put photos in, to sort out my photos, which I think they are the same ones. I just reordered them. And I have a link to my Amazon affiliates all in my description box and everything below. Please, if you want, just go check that out. Even if you don't buy the ones that are on my list, you'll see some similar ones. Maybe you can find some that have a better price or something. But so I bought these to put the stamps in. And then of course there's some sets that are much bigger, so they don't fit in the small envelopes. But I also bought these larger envelopes. Probably these are, you know, I don't know, 8 by something. But again, they're going to be linked in my thing. Whoops. 7 by 9.5. It's a weird size. But they work perfectly for the larger size stamps sets, which is awesome. I love it. Now they're all more of a uniform size. Almost every one of them has gotten into some sort of packaging like this. I've taken them mostly out of the other plastic packaging like that, which I don't like because it makes a lot of noise and it tears and everything. I did not like having to throw that away. A lot of it is actually over in my mixed media section where I can grab and do ink smishing. But so my large stamps are now in these cases. My small ones are in here if they fit. Even ones that have weird sizes or just a weird shape stamp is in a folder now, because now it's an even uniform size. And that's what I like about it. Okay, and then the dies, I separated out from the categories. I had the ones that had their dies with them. I had them also in the same category, but I decided that I'd rather just have the stamps with their dies in a separate box. So they now have their own box labeled stamps and dies, because I don't have a whole bunch of them. So for now, this works for me. I also purchased these magnetic sheets. They are adhesive on the back, but I didn't actually use any of the adhesive because they fit perfectly inside these envelopes. I want to say that when I looked for these envelopes, the magnets actually came up as a recommended thing, because apparently other people do this too. But so I did this so that I could put the dies with the stamps. This works perfectly for these rabbit hole smaller stamps. The dies are perfect. I combined a couple of them in there to save, because I only had so many magnetic sheets and I ran out and I need some more, but I got most of them in there because not only did I do my stamps and my dies, which as you can see, this is actually a larger one because the stamp set is bigger. This happened to be a sheet that I had for a different system that was in a binder sort of thing, but I didn't like the binder. So it works great as a magnetic sheet. And then the stamps are like this. Probably should just put them like that so I can see them better in the folder. And I actually took the label off the packaging and stuck it on the front, not because I want the barcode, but because I like having the name and I can kind of reference it quickly in here. There are some like waffle flower that came with their dies and their stamps in a nice little folder. So I just keep those in the plastic folder that it already has. And I have a couple that are like this one. Oh, it makes me so mad because the stamp set doesn't fit in the folder with the dies, and I didn't have any bigger folders, so I just put them like that. So I think I ran out of bigger folders, or maybe I will put it in the bigger folder. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so then my dies are in this little container, which had embossing folders in it also. I don't have very many embossing folders. I don't really emboss a whole lot. So I have like maybe 6 or 7, and I don't think I've ever used them. Maybe that will be one month that I have to focus on using them, but those are in a separate spot in that same drawer you saw earlier. They used to be in here, but because I started adding these magnetic sheets, it has expanded my thing, so I can't really fit all those embossing folders in here also. So that's okay. For the most part, I took out all my dies. I kept the packaging, the paper that was in the background, and put it on the back so I could see what the die looks like. And then I stuck the die onto the magnetic sheet. I did not use the adhesive on the back of that magnetic sheet. You can, but I did not. This one doesn't have a sheet because I need more. But for the most part, this one doesn't even have the name. The name's right there. So stuck it on the magnetic, kept the packaging paper that was in the packaging because I wanted to be able to see what it is. Like this one kind of gives you a reference. Sometimes, that one's actually already got one. Sometimes I cut the name off and I put it on the front because I do like to be able to just kind of thumb through and see what's in there. So that one, I did it that way. This one, like I said, I cut the packaging off. This one actually already had a magnet because it's a really old My Favorite Things die, and they actually had magnets originally. Smart idea. This one, I'll probably go through and I might even like cut these out with the dies, and then I might glue them on the back, because I did that with one of my Christmas ones, which I don't even have in here, and I thought that was really cool because these are backwards and there's no picture of what they look like. So so as you can see, like that's kind of what it looks like. I just like to have a reference on the back of what the actual die looks like when it's cut. So as much as possible, I save the packaging inside of the container. See, like that one, and this is the reference on the back. That's what I did for my dies, and I really like how that is. They fit so much easier in here now, better. There are a couple that I put them in. This one already had its own sleeve, so I kept it in that one. These guys, I think I ran out of magnets, and so I just started putting them, kept them in the container, in the package they were already in. Part of the thing about dies too that the companies do is they use like glue, hot glue or sticky glue of some sort, or tape to stick those dies, and that makes me so angry. So I was really happy to be able to take those off. I think there's one in here where I put two little words. These words were stuck on these packages, so I just combined. These are the same company, they're the same style. It doesn't bother me to have it like, you know, they have to be alphabetical or anything, but I like the fact that now there's two words in there and I use them. And if I was to get any more of these, I'd probably put them on this also, just to save that magnetic die. This one I haven't even stuck to the die because I haven't used their magnet because I haven't used it yet, but I put that one in there. So that's how I did that. It took me a few days or a couple days of working on it. Really enjoyed that process. And now it's all nice and neat and organized and fun. This one is, again, words that, I mean, usually the packaging doesn't really have much reference. All right, so the last thing is to show you on my desk what I have for ongoing projects. When I'm working on my kit each month, I do go through and I pull out stamps and dies that I want to use during the month. It worked really well for the month of January. I was able to use a lot of stamps that I wouldn't have normally used and dies, and I've already started for February with the words love and the hearts and all that romantic Valentine's-y stuff. And so I have this separate container that I keep on my desk, and it is where I store my stamps and my dies that I want to use during the month. So I have a separate container for stamps and dies. I have another one over to the side where I keep my paper each month and my embellishments for the kit. So that's a separate thing. Once these are done, this for the month of February, I will put them back with my stamps and my dies system that I have. But I don't really have as many as everybody else does. Of course, I'm going to have to add some more because, like I said, I kind of absorbed a bunch from my store. So those are going to be added at some point. I do have some of these empty. These are the empty sleeves. Like this. I think it was a package of 20 maybe. And then the smaller ones was probably it was probably 50 or 100 in a package. And I went through all of them. I used them all. And I did the same thing when I bought them for my photos. I ended up putting all of them in photo sleeves. So love these sleeves. They're really great. They seem to be really usable. But don't like having to throw away all the packaging. So I kept a lot of it, like I said, but some of it I did have to just say I couldn't keep it because what am I possibly going to do with 50 sheets of plastic sheeting packaging. So I already have so many. All right, so I think that covers everything for my stamps and my dies, and my embossing folders are just in a separate spot in my drawer, like I said. And I really like this system. I think it's going to work really well for me. I hope that you guys can find something fun and useful for you when you watch the other people in the hop and see what they do. Don't forget to go look at that link in the description below of the folks who are playing along this month. And I think as the year goes through, I have gained so much being able to organize one separate area every month for the year. We started, I think, in May last year. So we have probably 6 or 7 different videos in there. Plus I have some other craft room updates as I go along. And so go check those out too. Thank you so much. And I hope that you enjoyed this, and we'll check everybody else out. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the month of February with our next hop video. Bye.